Hello, everybody. It's Jacob here. We're going to blind read the new Vogue article that came out on the 29th of October, 2025. Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now? I'm here with my girlfriend, Valentine.
Hello.
I don't know if they heard that.
Hi.
They're going to have to turn it up to hear you.
Okay.
She says hi. Art's from Getty Images. Pretty cute. Want me to just to read it to you? Okay. If someone so much as says my boy on social media, they're muted. There's nothing I hate more than following someone for fun, only for their content to become my boyfriend ified. My boyfriend ified. Suddenly. Sorry. This is probably because for so long it felt like we were living in what one of my favorite Substackers calls boyfriend land. A world where women's online identities centered around the lives of their partners, a situation rarely seen reversed. Women were rewarded for their ability to find and keep a man with elevated social status and praise. It became even more suffocating when this could be leveraged on social media for engagement and, if you were serious enough, financial gain. However, more recently, there's been a pronounced shift in the way people showcase their relationships online. Far from fully hard launching romantic partners, straight women are opting for subtler signs. A hand on a steering wheel, clinking glasses at dinner, or the back of someone's head. On the more confusing end, you have faces blurred out of wedding pictures or entire professionally edited videos with the fiance conveniently cropped out of all the shots. Women are obscuring their partner's face when they post, as if they want to erase the fact they exist, without actually not posting them. So what gives? Are people embarrassed by their boyfriends now? Or is something more complicated going on? To me, it feels like the result of women wanting to straddle two worlds. One where they can receive the social benefits of having a partner, but also not appear so boyfriend obsessed that they come across as quite culturally loserish. Quote, they want the prize and celebration of partnership, but understand the norminess of it. Unquote, says Zoe Samudzi. Zoe, I am so sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Writer and activist. In other words, in an era of widespread heterofatalism, women don't want to be seen as being all about their man, but they also want the clout that comes with being partnered. Okay, here we got a related video, Best Moments from Vogue World 2025, Hollywood livestream presented by Chase Sapphire Reserve, eBay, and Eli Lilly and Company. None of those guys pay me. Maybe they should. Hint, hint. Anyways, carrying on, but it's not all about image. When I did a call out on Instagram, plenty of women told me that they were, in fact, superstitious. Some feared the evil eye, a belief that their happy relationships would spark a jealousy so strong in other people that it could end the relationship. That's relatable. Others were concerned about their relationship ending and then being stuck with the post. I was in a relationship for 12 years and never once posted him or talked about him online. We broke up recently and I don't think I'll ever post a man, says Nikki, 38. Even though I am romantic, I still feel like men will embarrass you even 12 years in, so claiming them feels so lame. Honestly, so true. So very true. I'm honestly not even old enough to even comment on that though. Carrying on, but there was an overwhelming sense from single and partnered women alike that regardless of the relationship, being with a man was an almost guilty thing to do. How scandalous. On the Delusional Diaries podcast, fronted by two New York-based influencers, Hallie and Jazz, hopefully I'm saying your names right, sorry, they discuss whether having a boyfriend is lame now. Why does having a boyfriend feel Republican? That's mood, bro. Read a top comment.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Yeah,
Wow.
you weren't supposed to find out.
Well,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay, isn't it?
Hey, don't be saying that now if this is going to get posted. You can't just name drop people.
I didn't name drop his full name.
Boyfriends are out of style. They won't come back in until they start acting right. True. Read another with thousands of likes. Yeah, true. Duh. Straight facts, no printer. They won't come back in until they start acting right. Yep. In essence, having a boyfriend typically takes hits on a woman's aura, as one commenter claimed. Funnily enough, both of these hosts have partners, which is something I often see online. Even partnered women will lament men and heterosexuality, partly in solidarity with other women, but also because it is now fundamentally uncool to be a boyfriend girl. Hey, fair enough. Men don't have a good reputation. It's not just in these women's imaginations. Audiences are icked out by seeing too much boyfriend content, myself included. It seems, as indicated by my liberal use of the mute button, when author and British Vogue contributor Stephanie Yeboah, and I hope I'm saying that right, I'm sorry if I'm not, hard launched her boyfriend on social media. She lost hundreds of followers. Jeez. Even if we were still together, I wouldn't post them here. There is something cringy and embarrassing about constantly posting your partner these days, she tells me, adding that there's part of me that would also feel guilty for sharing my partner constantly, especially when we know the dating landscape is really bad at the moment. I wouldn't want to be boastful. That's pretty fair. Sophie Milner, a content creator, also experienced people unfollowing her when she shared a romantic relationship. This summer, a boy took me to Sicily. I posted about it on my subscriber section, and people replied saying things like, "Please don't get a boyfriend." She admits that her content perhaps becomes less exciting when she's in a relationship. Being single gives you this ultimate freedom to say and do what you want. It is absolutely not every woman, but I do notice that we become more beige and watered down in line when in a relationship, myself included. From my conversations, one thing is certain: the script is shifting. Being partnered doesn't affirm your womanhood anymore. It is no longer considered an achievement, and if anything, it's become more of a flex to pronounce yourself single. As straight women, we're confronting something that every other sexuality has had to contend with: a politicization of our identity. Heterosexuality has long been purposely indefinable, so it is hard for those within it and outside of it to critique. However, as our traditional roles begin to crumble, maybe we're being forced to reevaluate our blind allegiance to heterosexuality. Obviously, there's no shame in falling in love, but there's also no shame in trying and failing to find it, or not trying at all. And as long as we're openly rethinking and criticizing heteronormativity, having a boyfriend will always remain somewhat fragile or even contentious concept within public life. Sorry for my weird cadence there, I gotta breathe. This is also happening alongside a wave of women reclaiming and romanticizing their single life, where being single was once a cautionary tale. You'll end up a spinster with loads of cats. Well, I love cats, so I guess I don't see an issue with that. It is now becoming a desirable and coveted status, another nail in the coffin of a centuries-old heterosexual fairy tale that never really benefited women to begin with. I certainly agree with that. So that's that. Honey, how do you feel about that article?
Uh, I guess I can see where they're coming from for some things. Like, definitely, when you're a woman, you get a lot more traction and followers and stuff when you're single. When you're in a relationship, your followers will go down because they're like, oh, you're not available anymore. I don't have a chance with you like I thought in my mind.
No, that's a good point. I mean, honestly, you could bring it to that, what's her name, Amaru instance at TwitchCon,
Yeah.
right? It's that parasocial relationship people have with the people they follow online. You know, perhaps when these women are launching their relationship publicly, there's a group of followers that the dream kind of dies for them. You know, now they're not gonna run into them on the corner of the street and whip them off their feet, and suddenly that they get to date their favorite personality that they follow. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then when people do kind of live in that delulu world, maybe they end up sexually assaulting someone at TwitchCon, which is actually insane. But then again, one of my favorite artists growing up was Christina Grimmie, and we all know how that ended.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
And then that's why a lot of people didn't want to go to TwitchCon too. For situations like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would add more context to this overall statement. Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now? I don't know. Being in a bad relationship is what's embarrassing for anyone. That's what I would leave it at.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a good partner and you're both happy, then no one should be embarrassed to post the other or be proud of being a good partner. I know plenty of couples that are very happy and proud to be a couple and be a part of a family and enjoy that family partner dynamic. But is posting about it a lot still cringe? Well, yeah, of course. I guess there's not much difference about nonstop posting your partner as there is like showing public displays of affection, you know? I don't think many people want to watch someone make out on the bus. Just as much as if I'm following someone, it's probably because I want to see their content.
Yeah. Like,
You know, like post about your art, about something political, the state of the economy, whatever. Post your cat, whatever. But I guess I'm not really trying to see your partner, because if I was, then I'd be the one dating them, right? I'm just kidding, but you know what I'm saying?
Makes sense, whenever, like, I like to see people post about, like, their anniversaries and, like, their wedding and stuff like that, but, you know, they don't have to post them every single day, because, like, we follow that person for their personality, not really for
Yeah,
their partner's interest.
exactly, kind of what I was getting at. If you wanted to know what their partner's up to, you'd follow them too. That's a good point. I think there's nothing wrong with people posting like celebratory days, your anniversaries, birthdays, holidays.
Yeah.
Who cares about that? I think what this article is trying to really get at is when someone's traditional life suddenly becomes almost, for lack of better words, codependent, and even codependent through social media usage, because it's still your life, and no one should forget about what makes them as an individual. But hey, maybe you spend every day with your partner and don't mind doing some of those more subtle posts, back of the head, each other's glasses at dinner. There's nothing wrong with that either. Who really cares? You know, everyone's got to eat. Everyone's out doing stuff. You know, if I'm your friend on social media, chances are I'm actually enjoying seeing what you're up to and seeing you enjoy life and live your life. Who the fuck cares if you got a partner? Now, if you're more of an actual professional creator, then, you know, that's where you got to, like in any industry, separate your personal life from business. So I don't know. I guess I don't really have much else to say about this. It was a well-written article. A lot of facts. maybe the secret is finding a man who also understands that men are trash, so that they can actually like point at themselves and actually like vibe with it and understand. Because like, yeah, dude, there's a lot of shitty men out there, and a lot of men probably, a lot of people in general, you know, as a whole, that are probably maybe just not in a good position to be in a relationship with someone. Well, that certainly doesn't mean being in a relationship is embarrassing. It's just whether or not you cross that line of cringy. Are y'all cringy as fuck, boy? But yeah, good article. What else have they written? Oh, I was hoping to shout them out. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I think I said everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Certainly not a bad article. Seems like people are blowing it out of proportion on TikTok and Instagram, but hey, everyone's got to talk. And you know what they say. It's usually the most unhappy people that are so quick to spread misery amongst the rest of us. Anyways, I'm sorry if you expected more of a clickbait commentary on this, and I'm sorry you probably have to turn your volume up really high to hear anything she had to say. Peace.